So, you want to know how I have done those 3D Pokemon animation? Well, it's not that easy to do, but I will quickly explain and show how everything works. So before we start, this is not a true tutorial, this is more a detailed showcase for the people who has no idea how 3D animation work. But if you want to learn 3D animation, this is still a good starting point. So the software that I use is called Blender. There are multiple different 3D software available, but Blender is the most accessible and it's free. So everything that I will show could be done into another software, but for the video I'm using Blender. I won't explain how Blender works, there are a lot of other videos that explain this, so let's skip directly to the interesting part. So this video will be separated into two main parts. We will first see how animation works in general, and in the later part I will show some specific behind the scenes stuff and some fun facts about my animation. Okay, so first we need a model to animate. You can create your own 3D models to use, but in my case, since I am not great at modeling, I use the official model or any other already made models. So let's start by opening an O'Brien model. So the files that you need are generally FBX or DAE. To be very simple, a model is composed of a lot of points called vertex, and those vertex create a lot of face, and once we show all the face, we got a model. As you can see, right now, the Umbreon is looking like a stone. This is because it needs some texture. A texture is an image that will be placed on a model. So there are a lot of different types of texture. The most common one is the color texture, which, as you can guess, puts the color on the model. Simple. So for the Pokemon, they all have two different color texture. One for the regular color and one for the shiny. There are a lot of other textures available. For example, for Umbreon, we have a texture for a mask. They allow me to make the glow effect for the ring. It doesn't make the ring glow like this, it needs some setup. We can really put any texture on any model. For example, poof! This cube is now an Umbreon. And if we are crazy enough, we can put another Pokemon texture into Umbreon. So look, this is Jolteon, but with an Umbreon model. Of course this is looking wrong, but you get the idea how texture work now. Okay, but now, how do I move this Pokemon? So to animate a model, we need a rig. It's like a skeleton to be more simple. So again, I won't explain all the details of how it works, but as you can see, I can move each individual bones and this will move the model. So now, to make an animation, we need to add keyframe. A keyframe saves the data and value of a specific element at a specific time. Right now, we are at the frame 1. If we put a keyframe at frame 1 and another one at frame 24, the value will change between those 20 frames. So, for example, let's tilt his head and add a keyframe. Then I move into the timeline 20 frames later. Let's move again his head and add another keyframe. Now, if we play the timeline, whoa, it's moving! Congratulations, you have done your first animation. let's do a very quick jump animation. But before even thinking of how are we animated, you must watch some reference in the real life. So if you have a dog or cat with you, just play with your pets first and watch how he do all of these movements. Or if you don't have any pets, you can just go to YouTube and it works too. Now that we have a better idea of how dog jump, you can then start to animate it. When you do animation, you usually want to do the main pose of your action first and add the detail at the end. In this example, I have used only 5 main keyframe poses. 1 for the wind up, 3 for the jump itself, and 1 for the recovery. As you can see, with only those 5 keyframes, the main action is clearly understable. Once you get the main pose correct, you can start to add more details in the animation. For example, here I have added a lot more keyframes for the foot and some keyframes in between some important jump, and we got this. But hold on a minute, what is this weird controller that wasn't here before? This is an inverse kinematic controller, an IK. So this allows me to make sure that a specific bone stays at specific position. Look at the feet position. Here what happens if I rotate the spin without an IK. The foot goes under the floor, and fixing it one by one is annoying. Here what it looks like with an IK. IK are obligatory to make good leg animation. It's hell without. And to be fair, that's it. You only need to know what I have shown to start doing animation. You can't be good at first, for sure. It requires a lot, and a lot of practice. Just practice, 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 and one day you will start to do some good animation. Okay, so to quickly explain how I have done the glowing effect. So first we have the normal texture, which is here, we do the normal color. And then at the top we have the different mask. So if we take this one, this is the mask for the yellow ring for this part. No. For here. What I have done is first change the contrast and the light. This allows me to make it more bright or less glowy. Then I use since the texture is a black and white texture, I can put this into the strengths. I don't know why I have to here, but I can put into the strengths. So everything that is black, nothing will happen, and everything that is white, so something will happen. And the something is an emission. So for example, I can change the color. Now it's green. Beautiful. And then all I need to do is just to combine this shader, so this part with the normal one, and tada! So for example, if I put only this, as you can see, only the glow effect is applied, because here it's only this shader and not everything. Those elements are just for combining multiple shaders. Poof! So I can change the color of the ring, the eye. Look, I have made an original character. Wow! So how to animate the facial expression, how to animate the eye, the mouth, everything. So this is pretty simple. So the texture, or actually, I will show this. So as you can see, the texture or actually an atlas. So you have in one single texture all the different facial expression, and all you have to do is just to edit the position of the texture. And what I need to do is just to add those two specific nodes, a texture coordinate and a mapping node, and the mapping just is here to select which one I want. I will take the eyes, this will be easier to understand. So for example, I want to close these eyes, so I will add one keyframe here, then 3 keyframes later, I will want this specific eye, then again 3 keyframes later, I want this eye, and etc. etc. Donc, and to add custom texture, I can edit them in Photoshop. So as you can see, the texture is bigger than the normal one. All I need to do is just to change the scale value, and then I can have everything else. Or else, if I don't scale, this will look like this, a beautiful alien. So for example, hop here, a custom texture where he look to the side. A custom texture where he's knocked out. Oh no! And this is the same thing for the mouse. The subsurface scattering allows the light to go through the model. As you can see with this siphon, when the model is almost at the same direction of the sun, it became very bright. This is subsurface scattering. So how I have done this? So I have kinda cheated, because normally you need a specific texture to say where you want the effect to take place, but you can just simply put the texture of your character into the subsurface color, and this will work. It's not perfect. Then you can change how strong it is. So the problem with my technique is you can't put it one, or else you have a very weird shadow, and your character looks like is not solid at all. And to make it work also, you need to change the subsurface radius. If you leave it at default, the subsurface will be red, because the skin of human is red. But for Leafon, I have put it something more like a greenish yellow. So with this value, so for example, if I upgrade this, wow, this is now red. If I put this is green, and now this is blue. And you need also to add this to make it work, if I remember, I think. Yes, I think you need this to make it work. So that's how I have done it. And this is why I have put the sun in the back instead of the front. It's just to have those sweet effects. Some Pokemon have some very special setup for the eye. For example, for Weavile, if I take the model and I select the eye, wait a second. Okay, if I select the eye, as you can see, if I move it, he actually has no iris. The iris is a separated texture. And with a very complex setup, I can move the iris like this, individually. I just need to exit the edit mode, and normally, okay, it's not this one. Okay, it's this one. So hop, I can move the eye like this. Toc toc toc, toc toc toc, toc toc toc, toc toc toc. I will just to quickly show how it looks like. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff, and I'm too bored to explain all of this. So if you want, so if you can take a screenshot of this, but there's actually more to do. So if you really want to know how to do this, just spam this guy of message and tell him to do tutorial, because he need to do more tutorial for this channel. In EV Family 6, the car and all the characters are actually not moving at all in the scene. It's just that the road, the ground, and the mountain are doing a loop animation. That's it. I'm not moving. It's really everything else that is moving. Fun fact, in EV Family 5, I believe, you have this scene, and something that you don't see is that this playground is actually extremely flat, but really flat. So for the Vaporeon animation showcase, to do the special color effect and the weird refraction, there is actually a plane in front of the camera. So if I go here, as you can see, there is a plane, and this plane is distorting the view. So for example, if I zoom near and then I enter the plane, bam! This is how the reflection effect has been done. And for the wavy effect, it's just a special effect in Adobe in the video editing. It's not made in the animation itself. Oh, also, and she's standing on the boat. A boat underwater. Wow. The bonus episode of Pataphone's Live in Pokemon has actually been made in Blender for all the EV battle. This has been made in a 3D environment using 2D sprites. So if we look at the rock, it's all of the rock are actually just 2D plane which are facing the camera. And this is exactly the same thing for every spectator. Those are just 2D sprites that are looking to the camera to make them like 2D, but they are placed in the 3D environment. Some trees are really 3D, as you can see. The most near one are 3D, but the far one are also 2D. Subscribe for more sandwich!
Sandwich?
Punch the bell! And like the video.